Today is Thursday, October 9th, 2025, and Phil and I are interviewing Mike Bernard and Thaddeus.
Yes.
Okay, welcome to Fresh Bear. Uh,
I was born in 1961, so I'm celebrating the last year of my middle age.
Coming out is an ongoing experience, I would say. As a teenager, I came out to friends, and I was about 30 when I came out to my parents, and I was 65 when I came out to the rest of the world by retiring from my career working for a very homophobic organization. But amazingly enough, when I was 30 and I finally came out to my parents, it was with hands and voice shaking and everything. They said, "You're 30 and you've never dated any women." We figured it.
I realized that I like boys and men when I was age 8. I started taking steps to find my community, so called a local hotline in Harrisburg. They introduced me to a gay volleyball league on Tuesday nights, and oh my gosh, it was awesome. That was my first place I felt home. The Baltimore Eagle was the place for Leathermen, bears, bearded, furry guys, the type I like. Not necessarily the leather. The leather was hot, but it wasn't the thing. For me, it was Craig's partner at the time, whose name I can't remember, who unfortunately has passed away. I knew him from Jumbo Bugle Corps and Color Guard, which is one of my interests. It was really, yeah, like mid 90s or so. It felt like to me that the bear culture was coming together and becoming more common knowledge in gay society, maybe even outside a little bit more in the gay society. Bears are, in my perception, mostly very accepting, loving, hey, come join us. And I really appreciated that.
so, yeah, community is extremely important to me as well, and I'm curious about how have you engaged with or participated in community? Anything formal or?
Uh, it's, I think it was more informal over the years. It's not like a 501c3 corporation where there's a whole board of directors.
Who I've known him for a long time, but he is the master of knowledge of print bear themed magazines.
Hmm?
Yes.
And his husband, Perry, I forget Perry's last name,
Cooper.
Cooper.
Yeah.
I like you for you. You are yourself. And they didn't say anything about liking my being big or liking my being hairy or anything like that until very recently. And I learned that being overweight was a, like an automatic deal killer the minute you walk in the door.
Mhm.
It's like 90% of the guys in the room are going to say, "Oh," as soon as a fat guy walks in the door. So I learned how to hate what I saw in the mirror. I do have lots of hair on my face, and Mike has told me that if I ever shaved it off, he'll divorce me.
Yeah. So here is the big $64,000 question, Thad.
So,
In your opinion, what is a bear?
what is a bear? That's an evolving answer. But
Okay.
first thing and simplest thing, big, heavy set, hairy fellow, and I picture such a guy with open arms and a smile. And that is open to everybody around him.
Not
Mhm.
always. I've learned that bears come in all shapes and sizes. Sometimes you're big, sometimes you're not as hairy, sometimes you're trim, sometimes you're short, sometimes you're trans. Otters being the playful sort, bears being the like a solid rock place to go to. I love the people, for example, who wear the free dad hugs and free mom hugs at pride events. Online socialization has certainly, I think, expanded people's access to the idea of bears. I love that there are bear runs, bear weekends, bear events everywhere. And when I say young things, that could be 50 and under.
Yes, they're
Uh,
still so young at 50. Yes.
yeah, right. And yet, it's just nice to know that we're there and that we are liked and loved and that we can share that same love with other people just by, hey, how are you? Give a hug, what's going on in life, chatting and connecting. And it's just really nice. The bears have evolved in community over the decades like we have. So it expands beyond the stereotype that was the twink type stereotype only for years, which I never identified with.
And it feels important to me at this time in history when it's beginning to look like things may become troublesome for us in the near future.
I just want to know, I don't want to press you, either of you, but is there anything else you want to say about part of our target audience is people who are 18, say, and just struggling with their sexuality.
But I left it all in my 20s because I was questioning the existence of God. For me today, God is an acronym for good orderly direction, and that works really well for me today. So I would say if there's anybody who is struggling with their orientation because their religion suggests that they're bad people or this is wrong, I would ask them to consider running as far as away as they can from that. Anybody who's struggling with their religion and reconciling it with who they are, to find another religion because there are millions of ways to find God other than the religion in which they've grown up or in the religion that's condemning their existence.
I also wanted to just double check. You say Harrisburg, like the world would know. That's Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Right, capital
Okay.
city. Remember, our states are small. We can go through our states sometimes in as little as 20 minutes, depending on how you or which road you take.
Yes.
There's a section of Maryland, in fact, that's 2.5 miles tall from Pennsylvania to the West Virginia border.
We're just starting to, we've done about 45 of these, and we're about to release the first full length of our interviews.
I'm planning to retire from full-time work next June, and I'll still be
Okay.
working like casually or part-time, probably part of the rest of the year and after that for a while.
If you're not paying attention, the Bear History Project can take over your whole life.
Right? No, yeah, see, now back then I didn't know I was 1970, so I mean, I was still just vaguely aware that I liked boys and men and didn't know what it meant. No, Rehoboth Beach is one of my very favorite places in the world. We repeat our honeymoon every year and go out to Western Maryland and spend the weekend. And that's what we did for our honeymoon, rode the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad.
Anyway, so we're doing our second annual fall foliage train ride.
Ooh.
It will go out of Utica north into the park up to Old Forge, which is really beautiful.